Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Supercars of London and welcome back to VVS. I am down here at the Lamborghini Toy Shop. This is Europe's largest collection of Lamborghinis for sale right here in the depths of Kent. And we are on video number 2 of 2019. Video number 1 outlined the importance of project cars and the role that they're going to be playing on Supercars of London in 2019, starting with the Lamborghini Murcielago and the video with everything wrong with it and what we're going to be ironing out this year, but also looking at some of the additions that are going to be coming to the SOL garage this year. But video number 2 down here at such a large expanse of my favourite brand, Lamborghini, I want to reveal to you a goal of mine and a challenge of mine that is learning everything that there is to know about Lamborghini and bringing you guys on the adventures and journeys of testing all of the different cars that Lamborghini have to offer, whilst we're still obviously going to be touching upon the likes of McLaren, Ferrari and other exotic manufacturers. I want to focus a lot of my attention on Lamborghini this year and become the Lamborghini connoisseur. I want to become the go-to place on YouTube. Supercars of London is that channel that knows everything about Lamborghini. I want to have all of the exclusives. I want to drive the craziest cars. I want to drive the newest Lamborghinis. And here, VVS, it is the perfect place to get that history under my belt. They've got a Lamborghini Countach at the back. They've got a Lamborghini Diablo. They've got all of these cars that I'm yet to drive. And there is one car here that I'm going to be driving today that I nearly bought instead of my Murcielago. And it is over there, and it's Rosso Mars. Here we have the 2013 Lamborghini Gallardo LP570-4 Super Trofeo, one of only 150 cars worldwide. This is one of the most rawest and dramatic variants of the Gallardo. At its time, the Super Trofeo race series was the fastest single manufacturer race series in existence, and being on the Gallardo platform, Lamborghini's most popular car, selling over 14,000 units. It's a pretty good basis to set a supercar up with the 5.2 litre V10, 570 brake horsepower and a slightly revised exterior. The Super Trofeo is the most hardcore variant to the Gallardo, and today we're going to take it for my first drive ever driving one of these cars. Rumour has it there are less than 10 of these in the UK. Incredibly rare. There were only 3 UK supplied cars that went to Lamborghini main dealers in the UK and then were delivered to customers. One of them, I believe, is over in the Far East now. This car came from a Lamborghini main dealer showroom in New Zealand and was imported straight to VVS. This car has done 10,000 miles and it is for sale. It is in Rosso Mars, the first time that Lamborghini introduced this colour code to a car. All 150 cars were painted in Rosso Mars, but I've actually seen a white Super Trofeo in California, so that confuses me a little bit and I haven't got to the bottom of it. But let me show you around this car what revises were made from the Superleggera, because this is essentially the Superleggera version of the Superleggera. From front on, the Super Trofeo can easily be mistaken for an LP 570 Superleggera. We have got carbon fiber wing mirrors and side skirts that are exactly the same. The front bumper also is exactly the same, but if it isn't the Rosso Mars paint job that gives it away, it's this logo down here, Super Trofeo Stradale, giving off the race culture of the Lamborghini race series. And it's only when we start getting over to the back that we get the extended spoiler, manually adjustable, and this engine bay, the satin black slats giving off the cooling for the 5.2 litre V10 that is also manually controlled here, and I've heard is quite fiddly, so I'm not going to do that today. But one thing that I've noticed from taking a closer look at this car is this additional boot lid, extended ducktail that flicks off the back that helps the aerodynamics of the back of this car. We have also got the carbon fiber Superleggera rear diffuser and ceramic coated exhaust tips. This car is number 122 out of 150, and it's rare now that we get plaques from manufacturers on limited run cars that give away the exact number out of the overall production. Inside, it is a lovely mix of Alcantara, carbon fiber and leather. If we open up here, the car is ready for us to take for a drive. We've got the Super Trofeo logo again, and just look at the additional carbon fiber. Some of it is an optional extra. Sat nav is an optional extra. Ceramic brakes are an optional extra. We can also get a roll cage, which this car doesn't have. Also a fire extinguisher, and there are also some comfort creatures like Bluetooth and nose lift. So I think let's start this baby up and take it for a drive under this beautiful blue sky on this crisp morning.
It's been a while since I've driven a variant to the Gallardo, but getting back in is so nostalgic. And let's just kick things straight off with how I nearly came to consider a Gallardo over the Murcielago, and it all came down to just how rare these cars are. 3 UK supplied cars, 1 exiting the country. I believe there is around 5 or 6, a couple of left-hand drive cars, a lot of import cars. I believe there are only 2 originally UK supplied cars in the UK. So at potentially one point or another, there could have been more Reventons in the UK than Super Trofeos. So it's an uber rare car, meaning that the value of them are holding so well. This car is priced at 200 grand. It's done around 10,000 miles, and it is a beautiful example. It is now 6 years old now, because this is registered in January 2013, coming from Lamborghini New Zealand. It is such a cool car to get back behind the wheel of, and I know that you guys arguably think that the Gallardo is the most popular car that I've ever had on my YouTube channel. It was my first Lamborghini, jumping from the R8, arguably my first supercar really, but I just didn't know how to drive it. At 24 years old, I didn't have much driving experience under my belt. So I'm the first person to admit that I did not get the best out of that car. But it was the road trips, it was the exhaust system, it was the way that that car made me feel. And every time I got in it, I was scared of driving it, a little bit like the Murcielago. But driving this, which is just the rawest form, I'm in sport, everything is up, warm and up to temperature. The one thing that I'm actually really surprised by is how quiet it is inside. You really have to open the window to get the best out of the sound. But when you get that sound, it sounds so goddamn good. It is such a cool package, sitting over the front wheels. You feel like you're in a go-kart, but you still have that raw it's so dramatic, and that's what I love so much about Lamborghini, that they still capture the pantomime and the essence of their brand so well. And what sells is excitement, and a car that wants to kill you, a car that keeps you on your toes. And the likes of Ferrari and McLaren are building incredibly precise cars, but it's these cars that really get my heart pumping, and it gets everyone else's heart pumping. The smiles, the thumbs up, the cameras that I've seen of just driving this road to and from VVS. This is the same road and route that I took my Lamborghini Murcielago on my first drive, and navigating that car through these country roads, I really had to concentrate, and it was a huge weight over my shoulders of making sure that I didn't clip a wing mirror on a car passing by, or I didn't put it in a ditch. But this car being a smaller package, it feels like a nimble little go-kart that you can really get this car on its toes, work the tyres and work the driving dynamics of the car. It is cool to get back behind the wheel. We've got beautiful weather. And I think the car sounds like it's working harder than it is. I'm only squirting the throttle about 50%, but the valve's opening, the shunts on the gear shifts, and the Super Trofeo is 70 kilograms lighter than a standard LP560, 70 kilograms lighter than my Bicolore. It might not sound that much, but the LP560 was already a light car, around 1400 kilos. This is just over 1300 kilos, and they're saving weight of 13 kilograms just on the wheels. If you were to go into a gym and bicep curl 13 kilograms, it's quite a struggle. And then you consider that's just the saving. That's what they've shaved off the original weight. What were they weighing, but what were they making the wheels out of before? This is a much more hardcore revised variant. It's the automated manual gearbox, single clutch, and in the Lamborghini press release for the Super Trofeo, they say that this car can smoothly go through all 6 gears faster than a human being. Well, if we just slip it into Corsa mode, let's put that smooth to the test. The gearbox shunts in Corsa is like an additional mechanism that slips the clutch underneath your feet and then shunts you into the next bloody year. I feel like I'm in 2020 from those shifts. It's so archaic, it's almost ancient now that we're so used to the likes of McLaren and Ferrari with the double clutch gearbox. But it provides the excitement, it provides the fun and the laughter for the driver and the passenger. And that's what driving supercars is all about, and that's what Lamborghini do so well. That's why I love the brand, and I've loved them ever since I've loved cars, which is why I'm embarking on this journey to start becoming even more knowledgeable and become the go-to place on YouTube for Lamborghini content, whether that be reviews, experiencing Lamborghini collections, driving old cars, putting cars head to head. Or I want to put a standard Murcielago up against my LP640. I want to put an Aventador up against my Murcielago. I want to put an Aventador up against an Aventador S. When the SVJ comes out, there's all sorts of awesome content that I want to produce. And in 2019, I want to become the Lamborghini connoisseur. I want to develop my knowledge in the brand. I want to develop my knowledge in where the brand is going in the future. But let's head back to VVS, check out some of the other stock, and then round this video off before I have to head back around the M25 and avoid the traffic. I'm going to take it out of Corsa mode because it slips the traction a little bit, and we're still on cold tyres. I don't really want to turn 5 cars in the UK down to 4. I'll see you back at VVS, guys.
Sadly, I'm back at VVS. What a beautiful day. Not a bad start to the year. driving that as my first supercar of 2019. The Super Trofeo is as raw and as unrefined as I was expecting, a little bit quieter than I was expecting, but it is the ultimate Gallardo, and I cannot wait to review a Gallardo versus a Huracan, because they are totally different. And I think a lot of people forget about how popular and how successful the Gallardo is now that the Huracan has rolled off the production line for a few years now. But still, if you want a ridiculous pantomime experience and you want that raw feel to a car that it is going to kill you, then a Gallardo is definitely the car to have over the Huracan. And if you want to go even further and even crazier, then go rear wheel drive Gallardo, because the traction control settings aren't quite as intelligent as the rear wheel drive Huracan. But inside VVS, the stock that comes in and out, I'm going to be heavily documenting. It's about an hour and a half's drive for me, but it is totally worth it when I get handed the keys to something like that and get the opportunity of taking it around some of the Kent countryside roads. But thank you very much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what Lamborghini content you want to see. What head-to-heads do you want to see? Do you want to see Diablo versus Aventador, or do you want to go completely crazy? And I might have to speak to a few people and drive a Centenario, but I need to get to those Halo cars, and my ultimate is doing something with the Lamborghini Veneno. It has been a long time since I've seen one of those cars, so maybe I need to fly out to Florida and try and catch the spaceship that drives around there. But I will see you soon, guys. Take care. Goodbye.